Women Taking the Lead, episode 106.
How do you want to feel each day? And what are steps you can take to make sure you feel that way? Is it waking up early so you can see the sunrise? It's going to make you feel that light and airy feeling will carry out throughout your day. Or, maybe it's going to the gym really early in the morning to get a jam-packed workout in so you can feel energized for the rest of the day. I really think it boils down to what your desires are and how those desires can shape your day and eventually shape your life.
Hello, my name is Jody Flynn and welcome to Women Taking the Lead, where we are all about creating blasts of inspiration to help you overcome self-doubt so you can lead with confidence, integrity, and a sense of humor. Head over to womentakingthelead.com to get the solutions to your top 5 leadership challenges. Now, your future awaits, so let's get started. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm here with Lindsey Allen, who is the founder of Fearlessly Authentic Living. It's a graphic apparel brand for women not afraid to do their own thing and live a life they love. Lindsey hopes to inspire a movement in which we all live authentic lives and pursue passions that invigorate our souls. Her current obsessions include fuzzy socks and gelato, and I can totally get on board with that, Lindsey.
Yes.
But that's just a little intro for everybody. So tell us more about you and your own humble beginnings.
Of course. Well, you made that sound so great. Thank you so much for doing that. And thank you so much for having me on your show. But back to humble beginnings. So when I was young, I really struggled with realizing who I was as a person and being very comfortable with who I was as a person. And that kind of went on throughout middle school and high school. And I know you're thinking like, oh, well, we all kind of go through those phases in middle school and high school. But my kind of discover yourself phase was coupled with physically growing very quickly. And I know that again sounds a little bizarre, but it was really hard to consistently be the tallest person in my class, consistently be a little bit more physically developed than my peers. And so I had a really hard time connecting with other girls my age. So if you kind of couple that disconnect with the common middle school, high school, who the crap am I going to be when I grow up problem, it really gave me some problems. It was a struggle that I had to overcome. And eventually, when I got to college, I kind of did some soul searching and I realized, you know what, I don't really want to feel disconnected and unaligned for the rest of my life. So let me just kind of nip this problem in the bud and fix it now so I can continue to feel good when I meet people and feel good within my own body. Honestly, that chapter within my life is what sparked Fearlessly Authentic Living. And that's where the mission of my brand and my company stems from. And I just want to inspire women to live a life they love and to be comfortable within their own bodies and to be comfortable sharing their true selves with others, because that was something that I so struggled with for so long. And I know how frustrating it can be to want to get to that point, but have a hard time getting to that point. So to be very honest and straightforward, I'm just a millennial girl that had a dream and pursued it. I had an idea that I wanted to start a company and I wanted to inspire women to live a life they love. And of course, it took a lot of hard work and a lot of hours behind the scenes, but I was able to pursue it and I was able to make it happen, which is so, so exciting. So I guess what I just want to tell your listeners, Jody, is that if I can do it, they can certainly do it. And if I can kind of overcome my, young struggles, that anyone can overcome theirs and pursue their dreams and definitely make them happen.
Lindsey, I love that. I love your mission. I so want to reach girls at a younger age and deliver that message to them, because I remember for myself, when I finally stopped putting energy into having a different body type, and just soul search to figure out how I could be comfortable in my own skin. It completely changed my life.
Oh, yeah.
I stopped fighting the fact that I was, 5'4", and I was never going to be 5'8", right? I stopped struggling that I have a curvy body, right? So I'm never going to have the perfect athletic body, right? I wanted to run fast. My body wasn't necessarily built for that.
Right. I totally hear you.
right? So there were definitely things about my body I wanted to change. And it's amazing how much energy I wasted hoping and wishing and trying to make those things different when I realized like the real power was just being comfortable in my own skin, accepting my body for what it was. Doesn't mean I don't want to stretch the limits and see what I'm capable of, but I'm not going to fight against it. I'm going to work with it. And I had so much more energy to put into other things because I remember that those stages, like it was exhausting not being okay with who I was. And your body is a big part of who you are. It's how you present yourself to the world. So I love this mission that you have. And like you say, you're young, but you've had your experiences and you've gone after your dream. You know, you're living in Spain, which I don't know that everybody knows about. You're living in southern Spain. So that's rock on. That's awesome.
Thanks.
You know, you've got the business and things you've got it going on right now. But I want you to take us back to a time when you were playing small. You may not have realized it at the time. You may have only in retrospect have looked back and thought, wow, I was capable of so much more than I thought I was in that moment. So share with us the story and the lessons you've learned.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so early in my college years, I had already decided at that point that I wanted to start a community for women, whether it was for teenagers or for women in their 20s and 30s, or even women beyond that age point. I wanted to start a community for women where they could talk about feeling like their authentic selves, feeling comfortable within their bodies, feeling comfortable within their personalities, and like ultimately feeling comfortable sharing those characteristics with others, because that was where I was really struggling, was sharing it with others. So I had already identified at that point that I wanted to start a community, and I started sharing this idea with others saying like, oh, like, what do you think about this idea? Do you think this could be a thing? Like, I kind of think this could be a thing, but what do you think? And I really gave the power when I said, well, what do you think? And a lot of people told me, oh, you're so young. Like, don't worry about it right now. College is, the best time of your life. Like, you don't want to start, a business or a company right now. Like, keep yourself responsibility free for as long as you can. And here I am sitting across from them saying like, oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, I got it. Like, I'm on the same page as you now. And so looking back, I've totally realized that my playing small moment was totally, hook, line, and sinker, taking what they were saying to me as truth, as like, oh no, like I can't do this. I'm using their words to influence my own internal talk of like, oh no, they're right. Like, let's, kind of keep this idea in the, back of your brain for a couple more years and then we'll act on it. So I allowed the naysayers to influence me to play small. And so the lesson I took away from that whole situation is that there truly is no right time. I could have started a community then if I had wanted to. And honestly, you're never going to be ready to start something, whether you have an idea and you need more resources, or you need more skills, or you need more time to practice, or more time to code your website. Like, you're truly never going to be ready when you try to launch something into this world, and that's okay. And I wish I would have had someone to tell me that, like, there is no right time and you will never be ready. So you might as well just do it now and learn as you go.
Yes, there's always going to be trial and error, no matter how much research, training, or past experience you've had. There's no way that you can prevent those moments of failure, because if you're stretching and doing something new, there's going to be that opportunity to make mistakes and learn and grow. And Lindsey, that's such a great story. And it captures an idea or a thought I got from another community that I belong to. And it is that you should only take advice from people who've done what you want to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
I 100% agree.
Yes. And it's only in retrospect that we're like, oh, yeah, right. That makes perfect sense. But at the time, when we just share our ideas with our families and our friends and the people around us, if they don't have the same dream and desires that we do, they're not going to completely understand it. And if they haven't done it before, it's uncharted territory. Mm-hmm. It's an unknown. And so it's scary. And out of love and with good intentions, a lot of times the people around us will encourage us to play small.
Yes.
because but what they're actually saying is, I could never do it. I couldn't do what you want to do. So don't do it. Right.
I feel like there's also an element of they're trying to look out for you too. Like the people that were telling me these things truly only wanted the best for me. And I think you're right. It was kind of that sort of nurturing mindset coupled with oh, well, I didn't do it this way, so maybe she shouldn't do it this way too.
Yes. And if you had had an opportunity to meet and talk with a woman who had started a community and had started a business at a young age, it's not even like you would have to take their advice 100%, but they would give you a little more information and their own lessons learned about what it was like to start all of that at a young age. And they, you know what? And more often than not, instead of telling you, no, don't do it, they would tell you, oh, well, here's what I did that didn't work. Do something different.
Exactly. I connected with your good friend, Christy Mims, and that was probably one of the best things for me because she gave me lines exactly like that. Like, this is Lindsay, this is what I tried, and this is what didn't work for me. So I would recommend this, or, here's a scenario and I did this, but I wish I would have done that. And it was so great to learn from her this past summer.
Oh, she rocks. I love her. All right, Lindsay, now share with us a time in your journey when you had a wake-up call. Take us back to that moment and share with us the steps that you took that led to your success.
Okay, so obviously I alluded to kind of my first wake-up call, which would be taking the leap and launching my business in November. But the most recent one, and probably the bigger wake-up call, would be when I launched Fearlessly Authentic Living. I initially got a little bit of pushback. I initially got a handful of naysayers saying things like, oh, well, this has been done before. T-shirts aren't necessarily that original, and I don't necessarily think you're being true to yourself, and this isn't you. So I kind of got that pushback, and that, like, after working so hard, all of my spare time went to trying to figure out who I was, what I desired, what I really saw for myself, and just kind of taking all of those like hopes and dreams and putting them into stepping stones and into reality. So when I got that feedback, it really hit a hot button for me. I was like, whoa, okay. So, this person is, poking at, one of my number one core values. So it really shook me, and it took me a while to get over it. I was kind of obsessing over the thought of someone thinking I wasn't necessarily staying true to myself. And the lesson from that wake-up call is you can't let the naysayers get in your head. You have to stay original. You have to do what you want to do, and you can't let them get in your head. You have to do what feels right for you. And if what feels right for you doesn't feel right for someone else, that's okay. And you just need to acknowledge that, you're going to do your thing over here and they're going to do their thing over there, and you guys are going to coexist perfectly fine, and everything's going to be, fine and dandy.
And Lindsay, I have to ask you this because I'm kind of chuckling as you're saying this, because as you know, the more visible you are, and the more you put your brand out there and your mission, and you're actively, bringing people into your community, you also just by course attract the people who want to be naysayers, who want to, spend their precious time and energy letting you know how you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Right. So, now that you come into contact with those people, not every day, I don't want to scare people who are about to, start their own business, right, or put their mission out there, but you do encounter these people a little more often when you're visible. So as you encounter these people, how do you handle it? What are some of the things that you say to yourself or maybe say to them to navigate that situation in a way that it doesn't bring you down and you can just move past it?
Gosh, well, so this wake-up call definitely taught me that when you get comments like that, you just have to realize that that person is not the person for you. And, their comments only prove that they may not be right for you and your community, and that's okay. So that's kind of what I tell myself when I see comments like that, or when I get, verbal feedback, is you know what, that person is just not right for me, and that's okay. And I'm going to let it go. And, the words that they said about me are not necessarily true because I have so many other people over here in the other side of the room that are confirming my other, values and beliefs and missions. So that's what
Yeah.
I just trying to reassure myself that, it's okay. Like it's not everyone's going to have a perfect fit or for perfect relationship, and not everyone's going to approve of what you're doing, and that's okay.
Yeah. And another thought I'm having too is, the need to sift through, is this a member of my community who is, noticing that something doesn't work and is trying to help me out and make the community better? Or is this coming from a place of, I just don't like you. I don't like what you're about. I don't like what you're doing.
Right.
And so I'm going to spew at you. And as a business owner, you have to be careful to listen for what the intention is behind the message, because sometimes people are just upset.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving you feedback, and it doesn't, not everyone's had a lot of coaching around how to communicate and how to keep good relationships. So they just communicate the way they know how to communicate. And sometimes it can be a little brisk, or borderline rude. But, if it's coming from a good place of, wow, if I implement the change that they're suggesting or hinting at, that would actually make the community better, as opposed to the haters,
Right.
or the trolls who are just looking to, make their bad day your bad day.
Right.
Awesome. And Lindsey, you may be young, but you are a leader, right? You have been doing things. You've been a mover and a shaker, and you have thoughts on all of this. How would you describe your leadership style as it is right now?
Well, I'm actually a pretty modest person. You were saying how, as I make my brand more well known and my name more well known, I step into the spotlight a little bit more. And that's so not me. I'm a very introverted person. And so I shy away from that a little bit. But since I am a little bit more of a behind the scenes kind of a gal, I definitely lead by example instead of taking more of an outward leadership position when I'm in a group setting with others or in a community setting, however it may be. And I feel like leading by example really allows me to be more open and vulnerable with the people that I'm working with, which also allows for me to build more trust and camaraderie within those group relationships or those community relationships.
And what are some of the things that you're particularly mindful of to make sure that you're, say, walking your talk on this?
Well, one of the things I like to do is like really trying to meet the person where they're at. And no matter what the situation may be, you can always find a common ground between you and another person. And I feel like having the ability to meet the person where they're at and to, just walk through with them the process they're going through, the learning experience they're going through, the task they're trying to accomplish, I think is truly kind of leading by example at its finest, is being able to just do exactly that, to meet them where they're at.
I like that. And Lindsey, what is one thing that you're working on right now that you're really excited about and want to share with us?
Well, my ultimate dream for Fearlessly Authentic Living is for it to be a community for women that want to jam on the art of self-expression and learn the power of living their truth. And I am finally doing that. I'm working on creating a private little community for women where they can do exactly that. And I'm also working on building a little online hub full of resources for women to go to in terms of living an authentic life or trying to lead an authentic business. And I'm hoping to release that soon. It's going to be full of ebooks and interviews and checklists and all sorts of good stuff I'm really excited about.
And Lindsey, can I put you on the spot real quick to give us one tip? Because I think we hear the word authentic and consciously we get it, but we're kind of wondering, well, what does that look like day to day? What is a tip you would give a woman who says, I want to live a more authentic life, but I don't know where to begin?
Okay, I would, and this kind of ties into, I think, where we're going to go a little bit later in our conversation, but I would strongly advise her to get clear on what her desires are for life, desires are for herself. So, one of the best ways of doing this is Danielle Laporte has a great process called core desired feelings, and her book The Desire Map walks you through how to find those core desired feelings, which are words you use to guide the way you want to feel for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week, for the rest of your life. um, and I advise all people that ask me that question, I advise them to start there, to start with, how do you want to feel each day? And what are steps you can take to make sure you feel that way? Is it waking up early so you can see the sunrise? That's going to make you feel, light and airy. That light and airy feeling will carry out throughout your day. Or, maybe it's going to the gym really early in the morning to get a jam-packed workout in so you can feel energized for the rest of the day. I really think it boils down to what your desires are and how those desires can shape your day and eventually shape your life.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right, Lindsey, now let's go to the leadership roundup. So tell us, what is one practice that you have that helps to make you a better leader?
Okay, so kind of going off what I was just telling you about, I start my day every morning by naming off my desires. So I write them in my little day planner and I think to myself, like, okay, what can I do today that is going to make me feel this way? Whether it's confident or aligned or radiant, what can I do to make myself feel that way? And by doing that, I've been doing this consistently for about 5 or 6 months now. And I feel like by setting that foundation for myself in the morning before I do anything else, really allows me to be more present with others. And for me, when I operate from a leadership style of leading by example, presence is one of the best ways for me to connect with other people and to essentially lead them through whatever they're going through. So that's one of the practices I have. I feel like it just gives me a very strong foundation to start the day with. And I feel like when I don't have that strong foundation, I feel not necessarily incapable, but just not as, I'm not quite sure what the right word would be, but not quite ready to help others, like not quite ready to build upon that foundation. I like to start my day solid. And when I don't start my day like that, I feel a little bit shaky and I don't necessarily like building things on top of a shaky foundation.
Yeah, the current wisdom I'm hearing more and more are people talking about morning practices.
Yes.
Right. And it doesn't have to be at the crack of dawn. It's whatever morning is for you,
Exactly.
Right? Whatever time you wake up, to carve out some time to be with yourself, to help you ease into the day and be more mindful. So I completely agree. I mean, when you're living from that place of actually thinking about how do I want my day to go and what am I going to do to make sure, that those feelings that I want I'm going to experience them today. Mm-hmm. It's harder to go on autopilot.
Oh, yeah,
and,
exactly.
You're more mindful, you're more present, and you're going to enjoy your day even if things don't go your way.
It almost feels a little bit more empowering too, to kind of take charge of your day and say, okay, these are the things that I want to feel today. And this is what specifically I'm going to do to make sure that I feel those things today.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And Lindsey, what is one book that you would recommend to another woman to help her develop her leadership?
Okay, well, I already kind of touched on the book, but Danielle Laporte's The Desire Map is the book that I recommend to any woman that's come to me and asked, like, oh, I don't know where to start. Where do I start? This is where you start. Danielle Laporte has an amazing process that she walks you through in finding your core desired feelings. I know that sounds a little woo-woo, but it's such a great way to narrow down, okay, this is how I want to feel, and this is how I want to share myself with the world, and these are the things that I'm going to do to make sure that happens.
Mm-hmm. And just so you know, it's okay to be a little woo-woo on the show.
Thanks.
I encourage it. All right. And what advice would you give your younger self?
I would tell my younger self to not let the naysayers stop you from pursuing your dreams. If you believe it and are willing to commit to it, you can certainly be anything that you want to be. You can certainly achieve anything you want to achieve.
Mm-hmm. And share with us a success quote or a mantra and why it has meaning for you.
Okay, so my favorite quote, it's a little on the long side. I have it written on 2 Post-it notes and it goes with me wherever I go. So it made the journey from California to Spain and it's here on my wall right by my door. So I see it every single time I come in and out of the room. It's a quote by Asher Roth, the singer, which is a little unconventional, but I absolutely love it. It resonates with me so much. And it is, do your thing. Do it unapologetically. Don't be discouraged by criticism. You probably already know what they're going to say. Pay no mind to the fear of failure. It's far more valuable than success. Take ownership, take chances, and have fun. And no matter what, don't ever stop doing your thing.
Oh, like that. It goes so well with your brand, too.
It does. It really does. Well, I feel like at this point I am my brand. Like everything that I have put into it is so aligned with who I am and what I want to share with the world. So I'm not surprised you have that impression.
Well, rock on.
Thanks.
Keep it going. All right. All right, Lindsey, lastly, what is the best way for this community to connect with you because you've been a rock star?
Thanks, Jody. Best way to connect with me would be at fearlessly-authentic-living.com. There's a little link to the blog on that homepage, and you can check out all of my writings on authenticity. I also have a little newsletter list on there you can sign up for. You can get access to the community and resources that Jody and I were talking about earlier during the interview. And then you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at Fearlessly Authentic Living.
Mm-hmm. And I know with this community, they're often listening on the go. So for those of you in this community who are listening right now, you know you can find all the links and resources shared in this episode at womentakingthelead.com, or you can use the short link, which is womentl.com. And you're going to find Lindsey's show. Just put her name. It's Lindsey spelled with an E. Put that in the search bar, and her show notes page, the blog post that accompanies this episode, will come to the top, and you can go in there, click on the links, and get all the stuff that she's been sharing. So, Lindsey, thank you so much for taking the time to inspire and enlighten us. We are all better for having met you.
Thank you so much, Jody. It means so much to me for you to say that.
Thank you for joining me on Women Taking the Lead. Were you inspired to take some action today, but maybe don't know where to start? Or maybe you have so many great ideas you can't decide where to focus your attention. Don't let stress or overwhelm stop you from having the career, the business, or the life you want to live. Head over to womentakingthelead.com/coaching or use the short link womentl.com/coaching to sign up for a consultation with me. And to strengthen you on your leadership journey, I'd like to send you off with a quote from Marianne Williamson, so here goes. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Again, thank you for joining me, and here's to your success.